Hello everyone, good morning. Today is 26th of July and I welcome you all to the Hindu newspaper analysis discussion. So guys, let's start with the video. So in the video, we are going to take up the entire analysis of the Hindu newspaper, all the articles along with the background and way forward we will take. And I would also like to tell you that you can download the explainer notes of this session from our Telegram channel. Link for Telegram is given in description box in YouTube. And guys, we were not able to stream video yesterday. It is because I had classes from morning 8 to evening 8:30, so it was not possible. However, we try with that there should be not such any gap. Okay, though even today I have the class at 8, but still we'll take it up anyhow. Now, first of all, let's take the overview of the entire newspaper so that we can understand that which articles are important for the exam. Now, here we see that the first page, opposition plans no trust motion against Modi government. So, guys, here we see this thing that the parliament session has begun and these particular issues will come. Okay. However, until and unless some actual thing happens on the ground, you are not required to go and track everyday article. Arrived at consensus on ties in Bali. Okay, basically, guys, we'll take that particular thing. Manipur marginally lifts it the internet curbs. So from so many days, the internet suspension was being criticized that the people's right to internet has getting suspended. People are not able to express themselves. They are not able to know what is going on in Manipur and all such things. Then moving on in the city section, fine, we have the regional issues, fine issues related to the Delhi government, tenders and these advertisements, etc. Guys, largely uh, moving on in this particular direction. Okay, so we don't have much of the relevant articles here. Okay, moving on, guys, in this particular direction. Okay, final orbit raising maneuver of Chandrayaan 3 completed. So basically, guys, see this particular thing that the Chandrayaan 3, fine. So basically, as we talk about the Chandrayaan 3, it was launched. Okay. Now, basically, there will be the multiple maneuvers that will be done by the Chandrayaan, fine, around the Earth. And after reaching the apogee, it would move to the moon's orbit. Okay. So basically, the lifting has been done. However, again, moving on, guys, you are not required to track this day-to-day detail. Only when the Chandrayaan will reach the moon, what are the major findings that it has given, those things are needed to be seen. Then further moving on, guys, again we have these tenders, etc. Now coming to the editorial section. Drawn from gig worker struggle hewn in Rajasthan. We'll take this particular article with respect to the examination. Then, guys, moving away from the take, make, dispose model, we'll take this particular article also with respect to the examination. Then, guys, child law and consensual sex. So we'll take the article talking about the Pocso Act. We'll take this also, BJP's Tamil Nadu outreach. Not much important article with respect to the examination. Then, guys, further moving on in this particular direction, text and the context page. Himachal floods, a man-made disaster. We'll take this particular article with respect to the examination. Then on text and context, there is this idea of full reserve banking. So we will take what is this full reserve banking issue all about. Then, guys, 700 refugees yet to be repatriated to the Myanmar. No need to go too much in detail in these particular articles. Then moving on, guys, after this, concern over Bangalore Central Prison becoming hotbed for radicalization. Okay, so we see this particular thing is that often the prisons, okay, they have many of the social and social problems, even the criminal activities sometimes thrive. We have seen the example how the hard jail has become the hotbed of criminal activities. In the same way, the radicalization has been carried up. Then Lok Sabha passes contentious biological diversity bill. We'll take this particular article. Then moving on in this particular direction, 5 crore names deleted from MGNREGA. We'll take this particular article. Political parties feel RTA may reveal their internal decision. Okay, so basically, guys, here it has basically when we talk about the RTI, under the RTI, political parties don't come. Okay, and this particular thing has been controversial from a long period of time. It is said that the political parties, as they have so much of the stakes, they should be under the RTI. So CGI said that political parties have a point. They might fear that under the RTI, a lot of internal decisions have to be disclosed. So this is the reason that they are not coming under RTI. Then after that, President opens tribal art gallery at Rashtrapati Bhavan. Okay. Then moving on the world page, guys, the protest royal Israel, Imran to face fresh charges of contempt, says lawyer. Now moving on, please no need to go in these particular articles because these are just the evolutionary things. Okay, only the issues related to foreign policy or some impact if there is on India, that need to see. CBIC detects 9,300 crore fake GST accounts. Okay, again guys, no need to go too much in detail in these particular kind of things. IMF, India's rice curbs could spur inflation. So basically guys, recently India has proposed that they will restrict the export of certain types of rice, okay, particularly the non-basmati rice. Okay, now that particular thing might have a lot of impact because India is a very big exporter of rice even to the countries such as the US. So these particular and large number of Indian diaspora living there, they are big time consumers of the Indian varieties of rice and the other people also. So it might lead to food inflation, which is already a big problem. Then we have these corporate trends, etc. And then there is a sports page, guys. Okay, one thing guys I specifically want to tell you that in the last there is a science page. Now understand this particular thing. If you have seen the questions from the science section either in GS3 or in the prelims, so questions are largely asking about the application of science and technology. Core science articles are not needed to be seen that much for our exam. Today's article is talking about a research that has been published, the arduous quest to find the shape of the electron's charge, the shape of the electron's charge. So basically guys, the standard model and basically the flows and the standard model, they have tried to find out, mathematical calculations have been explained here. Fine, number one, you are not required to go in these particular kind of a specific research papers and their analysis, that particular thing, because for exam neither it is important nor the humanities student or from the non-technical background students, basically they will often not be able to understand because they go too much into the deep nitty-gritties of the science. So I will not suggest you to go in these particular articles for exam point of view. Now let's take up all the relevant articles one by one in the detail, and this is the synoptic notes that I was telling you, you can download from the Telegram channel. Every class we start with a GS quotation. So today we'll take the quotation from Hank Johnson. So Hank Johnson says, social security is not just another government spending program. It is a promise from generation to generation. Promise from generation to generation. Now, when we talk about the social security can come in many different variants. For example, pension for the old age people, Uh, then the insurance, health insurance to the old age people. Then the social security could be the it could be pension, fine, health insurance, it could be spending on other welfare aspects of the people. So this is the promise from one generation to another generation. For example, if the social spending is done onto the pensions of the old people, so younger generation who are today the taxpayers are supporting them. So it promotes the intergenerational equity, intergenerational justice. So that is all about it, and you can use this particular idea in GS paper number 2, issues related to social justice. Issues related to social justice. Now moving on, and let's take the first article for today. Himachal floods, a man-made disaster. So we will take this particular article with respect to the GS paper number 1, geographical phenomena of flooding, as well as GS paper number 3, climate change and disaster management. Climate change and disaster management. We'll take this particular article. So basically, guys, you might have seen in the news that there have been a disastrous flooding that happened in the Himachal, and large number of valley regions of Himachal, they have got submerged and faced a lot of destruction. Now the article is talking about that basically, just a minute. Yes, so article is talking on that particular direction. The article says this particular thing, that in the last 5 years, if we see, before 2022, more than 550 people have lost their lives and more than 12,000 houses have damaged in the flooding, particularly into the hilly regions such as the Himachal Pradesh. Now basically, why these sudden events of flooding, so much of the environmental destruction is taking place? So there are multiple reasons for this particular thing. Now first of all guys, we see clearly the climate change has been a very big reason, because of the climate change there are the sudden rains, torrential rains, okay, flash floodings that are happening. According to Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC's report number 6. It says that the Himalayan region and coastal region would be the hardest hit by the climate change, because guys, what will happen? For example, as the sea level temperature will rise, the cyclones will become more intense. It will impact the coastal regions. Then we see that because of the climate change, temperatures have increased, and because of that, the glaciers are melting at fast pace. So already into the rivers there is a lot of water, and then the sudden rains are also there. It brings the flooding into the Himachal region. Cloudburst kind of things will happen. So this is the impact of climate change on the Himalaya and the coastal regions. Now we see this particular thing, not only the climate change has to be blamed, but also the anthropogenic factors, unplanned development activities of the people in the Himachal Pradesh and hilly regions. It is also responsible. Now, first of all, guys, when we see this particular year, there were excessive rain in the Himachal Pradesh because of two reasons. Number one, there was the southwest monsoons that was prevailing during this time, and then western disturbances also met. So western disturbances met the southwest monsoon, and it doubled up the amount of rain. And then the anthropogenic factors. Let's discuss more about the anthropogenic factors or the man-made factors. Now, the article is talking about that as we talk about the Himachal Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh as a state, Himachal Pradesh as a state came in existence post 1971. Okay, post 1971. And post 1971, in the starting few years, particularly the first 20 years, there has been a huge development in Himachal Pradesh that happened. And there was the Dr. Parmar model that is used into the context of Himachal Pradesh. Fine. So Dr. Parmar was the founding chief minister of the Himachal Pradesh. And under this Dr. Parmar model, a lot of focus was given on the social welfare. Okay, education was provided, basic social services were provided to the people. By 1980s, almost all the houses, they had electricity, connectivity was provided, healthcare programs, education program, all these particular things came, and it improved the social indicators of Himachal largely. Till 90s, particularly 1970 to 90, this focus was going on, and it improved a lot. But we see this particular thing with the coming of liberalization of 1991. What happened? Government started to promote tourism. Government started to promote the tourism, and basically what happened? The hilly states such as the Himachal Pradesh, they were asked that they need to generate the tourism revenue, and for that particular thing, they need to develop the infrastructure. They need to widen up the roads and all such kind of things started. So basically, and at the same time, what happened? Also, government started to exploit the natural resources, forest, okay, water was exploited to generate the electricity, fine, hydropower. And guys, even many of the industries were developed. For example, cement production started to be done into these hilly regions such as the Himachal Pradesh. Now, because of this so much of exploitation of forest, exploitation of the river courses, industrialization, what has happened? The ecology of Himalaya region, which was already very much fragile, it has got impacted. And because of this particular thing, what has happened? A lot of hills, or sorry, a lot of mountains, they have become unstable. River courses got altered, and every year, because of these particular things, the flooding, landslides, such as things happen. Now, when we talk about, guys, Himachal Pradesh, because so much of industrialization, tourism, infrastructure was to be supported, electricity was needed, and therefore the hydropower projects were commissioned on the large scale in the Himachal Pradesh. Now basically, guys, why these hydropower projects? Because you need electricity for cement plants, you need electricity for tourism, for everything. So basically, run of the river dams got constructed in Himachal Pradesh. And what these run of the river dams do, they divert the water through the tunnels. So we see, suppose this is a mountain, and under the mountain there are the tunnels that are being made. Now, as the tunnels are being made, these mountains become hollow, and also the excavated material, the muck, what it is disposed in the nearby river. What happens? It chokes up the river, and then the river will flood into the nearby regions. Okay, also what is happening? Because you are making the mountains hollow, what happens? It disturbs the structural integrity of the mountains. Because of that, landslides and all such kind of things will also become a very big problem. And today we see that all these things are happening in Himachal Pradesh at the same time. Then also, as the development has come, tourism has to be flourished, there is the need to develop the roadways, highways, 4-lane highways, so that the people from Delhi can reach Shimla in 4 hours, can reach Manali in 5 hours. So basically what has happened, a lot of road widening projects have been taken. For example, 4-lane projects for Manali and Shimla. But guys, the point is that usually when we talk about the earlier the roads were constructed, so you see this particular thing, suppose this is a mountain. So basically the road would be constructed like this. Okay, road would be constructed like this, so that a lot of excavation of the mountain is not done. But what is happening, we have seen that there is now the vertical cutting of the mountains that has been done, vertical cutting of the mountains that have done, and this vertical cutting of the mountain is leading to a lot of landslides, damage to the existing roads, all these particular kind of things are happening. Then so we have seen, first of all, the hydropower industrialization that has come, road widening projects that has been a problem. Then the basically the agriculture patterns also are getting shifted in the Himachal Pradesh. Now when we talk about the agriculture pattern in the Himachal Pradesh, the farmers earlier they were doing a lot of cereal farming. Now cereal farming they were doing, and now they are moving towards the cash crops, and these cash crops are to be reached to the market. Okay, they have to be these cash crops need to be ensured that they reach the market in the time bound manner, and for that particular thing again there is the infrastructure that is needed for these particular things. So therefore, because of these multiple failures that have come, policy failure, developmental failure, climate change that is becoming a big problem, Himachal Pradesh is suffering. So immediately there is a need that this particular thing is to be focused, and there is a need of to establish a commission of inquiry which brings the people also on the board, and all of them should see that how sustainably the Himachal Pradesh development could be taken up without hampering the ecology of this particular place. So that is all guys about it. And now moving to the next article. Okay. So we have this particular article in the newspaper, and the article reads full reserve banking, where banks act solely as custodians of customer money. So we'll see this particular article with respect to GS paper number 3 as well as with respect to the prelims examination. We'll take this particular article. Full reserve banking. What is the full reserve banking? So basically guys, you might be knowing that as of now what the banking is. Bank will take the money from a depositor, fine, will give that money as a loan to another person who needs the loan. Banks are giving the interest rate also to the depositor people. Now understand this thing, there can be two type of deposit. There can be demand deposit, there can be the demand deposit, and then there can be the time deposit. Demand deposits are your normal saving accounts where you deposit the money and whenever you want you can withdraw the money. Time deposits are largely your fixed deposits in which you deposit the money for a particularly locked-in period. Okay, you cannot withdraw the money before that period, but okay, obviously you can break that FD, but that amount gets locked in. So the fixed deposits are the time deposits. Now what is full reserve banking? The full reserve banking is also called as the 100% reserve banking. In this particular banking model, the banks, the demand deposits that they have accepted, the demand deposits the bank have accepted, they cannot lend that particular money to anyone. The bank have to keep that particular money safe with them. Okay, and in return what can happen, the banks can charge the money from the people, safekeeping money they can charge from the people. The point is that you can be assured that you deposited 10,000 rupees in the bank. Those 10,000 rupees are lying in the safe or vault of the bank. Your money is not at a 0% risk, because sometimes you gave money to bank lended that money to some other person, a person is not giving money or had defaulted, your money also you face a lot of risk in that. But here you can be sure that your money is at 100% safety, and in turn you have to give the fees to the bank. Usually what happens in the today's banking system, bank pay the interest to the customers if they are taking their deposit, but how they are able to pay the interest? Because they have lended the money to somebody else. Here you have to pay the fees to the bank. Now, basically guys, this is the full reserve banking or 100% banking that is there. Now here banks, if they want only the time deposits, the fixed deposit, they can lend to other customers, and for that you will be getting some kind of an interest rate. So this is the full reserve banking or 100% reserve banking. But as usually we see the banking model, it is the fractional reserve banking system. This is we see today in the world. What happens in the fractional reserve banking system? Suppose I deposited the 100 rupees in the bank. Okay, bank will keep some fraction of that particular money with it, let's say 10%. So 10% it will keep with it, and 90% even of the demand deposit it will give to the other people as the loan. Moreover guys, bank will not give this 90 rupees as a cash to anyone. What bank will do? Bank will open the bank account of all these people and will credit just that electric numbers in the bank account. Obviously, so what can happen? Bank by this 90 rupees can give money to a lot of people. Obviously, a lot of people will not withdraw the money immediately. So point is that a bank from one deposit is lending the money, okay, and even not giving any cash, is giving the money into their bank accounts, which stays often in the bank account. Okay, so this is a fractional reserve banking system that is there. Now, so I hope you have understood fractional and the full reserve banking system. Now, under a full reserve banking system that we have discussed, fine, banks are prohibited from creating loans without the actual cash in their vault to back these loans. Okay, but many of the supporters of the full reserve banking say this particular thing, that by this particular thing, as banks will not be able to create a money out of the thin air, obviously what will happen, there will be a very realistic supply of money that will be there in economy. Artificial booms, artificial banking led booms and all such kind of things will not come. So this is just an idea. Let's so you need to have the idea in the mind. So that is all about it. And now moving to the next article, drawn from gig workers struggle hewn in Rajasthan. Now this particular article will see with respect to the GS paper number 2 social justice. GS paper number 2 social justice. Now the article guys is talking about the social security for the gig workers. Okay, so basically guys, we have seen that Rajasthan government has passed the Rajasthan platform based gig workers act 2023. Now first of all, what is a gig worker or what is a gig economy? You need to understand. So basically guys, gig worker are those kind of workers which don't have any permanent relation with their employers. They work for a particular project for one employer, then they will change the employer, then they will change the employer. That is the gig work. For example, let's say I am editing the videos for some of the YouTubers, let's say. Okay, I will edit one of a video of one YouTuber, I will charge some money for that project. Then I will edit the other video, I will charge the money for that project. So I am not a permanent employee of any one person. I am doing the assignment basis work. So today guys, if you see, there are so many of the aggregator platform that has come. For example, you have these Ola, Uber, Zomato. These are the gig works, because suppose I am an Ola driver, I will take a ride. Fine, I can just switch off my app after that ride. Okay, for that ride, that work, I will be paid the money. So this is the gig work that has come. Now guys, today as the gig economy has become very much important, we see this particular thing that the workers working in this gig sector, they are needed to be protected. And for protecting these gig workers, this Rajasthan platform based gig worker act has come. Now today guys, we see this particular thing that today these platforms such as the Uber, Ola, okay, they call themselves as the aggregator platform. They say that we are just connecting the customer with the driver and we take a commission in that. Okay, now this platform, they will fix the route, regulate the ride, determine the prices, everything. Okay, now company says this particular thing, okay, that all the drivers, for example, working for us, even the Zomato, Swiggy will say that all the riders working for us, they are not our employees, but they are our partners. We give them work, okay, and they pay us some commission. They are our partners. This is something that is happening. But we see this particular thing guys, that actually today when we talk about the condition of these gig workers, they are working for long hours. Okay, if they get ill, if there is some social crisis, let's say if an Ola driver gets into an accident, fine, he has to repair his car. Okay, if he gets ill, he has to pay for his bill. No social security benefit is being given to these workers. And we see this particular thing, that these companies also have resisted, that we don't have any responsibility towards these workers. Okay, this is something that has happening. Okay, if there is any health failure, app failure, internet failure, every responsibility is on this particular worker. So basically, the idea is to regulate it. Now guys, here it has been said okay, that here there is this important case study has been given, that is the Hamal model of Maharashtra. Now basically, Hamals, who are the Hamals? Hamals are the people who carried sacks, heavy sacks on their head, on their shoulder, and used to transport the sacks from one place to another place. These people were called as Hamals. Often they were not paid the standard wages. Sometimes wages were not given into the time. So basically, the Hamals in the Maharashtra, they formed a union, that is the Hamal Panchayat, and they wanted to come out with a protection for the unorganized sector worker. And what happened? What happened? Because of this Hamal Panchayat, they were able to come out with a law for these Hamal workers. What happened? There was the Mathadi board that was created, and this particular board will work between the Hamal workers as well as the merchants. Now merchants who need to use the service of these Hamal workers, they have to register themselves and have to deposit the workers wage with this particular board. Okay, and for every sack there was some extra charge, a levy that was also to be given to the board. Now board after the month will give all the wages to the worker back. So in this capacity, workers will get a salary, or a kind of a there will be the surety that they will get their particular return. Okay, this is something that will happen. Now the levy that is being charged, okay, suppose 10 rupees is the wages, on 10 rupees 1 rupee levy is being charged. That levy would be used for giving them the social security, such as they will be given gratuity, health, education benefits, they will be given the social security. All these particular things happen. So basically, these Hamal Panchayat became so much successful, this model became so much successful, that today the Hamal Panchayat has its own bank, they have their own housing scheme, they have their own school. And actually this is an example that how the unions can actually work for the workers. So in the same way, the article is talking about that the gig workers need to form unions, and in order to form the unions, they need to be given the right to form union, and for that particular thing, these kind of laws become very important. Okay, that is all about this particular issue, guys. Fine. Now moving to the next article. Moving away from the take, make, dispose model. Now the article will see with respect to the GS paper number 3. We'll see this particular article with respect to the GS paper number 3, environment. Okay, now environment. So basically, guys, as we are taking up the G20 leadership this year, so basically the article is talking about that we need to switch from take, make, dispose to the reduce, reuse, recycle model. Okay, take, make, I use a product, I dispose it. Circular economy is to reduce the consumption, reuse the product that you have used, and then recycle this particular thing. Now India has prioritized resource efficiency and circular economy. This is our important agenda under the G20. And how we will be taking forward the circular economy? 4 priority sectors have been identified by India. Number 1, we will move forward with the circularity in the steel sector, extended producer responsibility, circular bioeconomy, and establishing an industry-led resource efficiency and circular economy industry coalition. Let's discuss these priorities one by one. Don't worry, it might look that okay, what alien words have been written here, but they're very easy. Let's discuss them one by one. So basically guys, as we talk about the G20 member countries, they have all committed to achieve the net zero ambition. Okay, their carbon emissions will become net zero. And for that particular thing, they need to increase the recycling. So recycling rates are needed to be increased to 15 to 25%. Now, when we talk about, guys, the steel sector is one which is a very polluting sector. Why? Because it uses a lot of energy. 7% of the energy sector emissions are because of the iron and steel production. Okay, 7% of the 7% of the energy emissions are because of the iron and steel. So point is that wherever possible, the steel should be reused. Steel should be recycled. So for the steel sector, reuse and recycling is to be done. This is one of the focus. Then the next is that India is also promoting the EPR, Extended Producer Responsibility Framework. Now, what is this EPR? What is Extended Producer Responsibility? Now, guys, suppose I am the producer of this pen, plastic pen. I will sell this plastic pen. Okay. Now, this pen will be used for some time. After that, this particular pen will not be usable. Now, extended producer responsibility means it is my responsibility that I have to collect back this particular pen after the end of this particular life. So, for example, you buy a mobile phone. Let's say mobile phone's end life is 10 years. So, after the 10 years, the mobile phone manufacturer has to recollect that particular wastage back. So, this is the EPR, Extended Producer Responsibility Model. We have implemented the EPR in India and we are doing it on a very good scale. Then recycling, a bioeconomy. Okay, so basically guys, what is, see, there is a lot of, now when we talk about, we have 20,000 registered producer, importer, brand owners who are doing the EPR, and this is one of the largest network that we have in the world. Then guys, bio waste. So basically see, there is a lot of biological waste. For example, stubble is being generated after the wheat has been harvested, after the rice has been harvested. There are the cow dung, cattle dung, all these biological waste are there. Now these bio waste are not being used properly. So these waste could be used as a primarily raw materials. They could be converted in compost, they can be converted in fertilizers, they can be cow dung, can be used to make the cow dung, and the wastage can be used to make the natural gas. Okay, compressed natural gas, all these kind of things. They can be used to make the gobar gas and all such kind of things. Okay. Now, for this particular capacity, guys, government is even running the scheme such as the Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Yojana, which provides the financial support for bioethanol projects. So, agriculture waste, sugarcane baggies can be used for the bioethanol. So, for that, support is being given through Pradhan Mantri Jeevan. Then there is Govardhan scheme. It is launched by the government to convert the cattle dung and organic waste in compost, biogas, biofuels, which can be used as an energy source. Then also there is this Satat scheme, fine, sustainable alternative towards affordable transportation, Satat scheme. In this scheme, there will be the promotion of compressed biogas, CBG, compressed biogas for the green transportation. Now, the compressed biogas can be made from the bio waste that is getting generated. Okay, this is all about it. Then guys, on industry coalition, what has happened? The industries have come together and they are doing the technological collaboration so that how they can reduce the wastage, how they can reduce the pollution and all such things. So this is something which India has taken up under the G20 presidency. Then further moving on, child law and consensual sex. We'll see this particular article with respect to the GS paper number 2, social justice, issues related to the children. Now, moving on. So basically guys, what has happened recently, multiple high courts, they have quashed the FIR under the Pocso Act 2010-12. Now, what is the Pocso Act? Pocso Act stands for the Protection of Children from the Sexual Offences Act. And under the Pocso Act, any person below the age of 18 years is considered as a child. Any person below the age of 18 years is considered as a child. It means that with that person, no sexual intercourse can be carried. Even the consensual sexual intercourse cannot be carried with a person below the age of 18 years, that is a child. It will be if any sexual intercourse is done even after the consensus, it will be considered as a child rape. So Pocso punishes all these particular things. Now guys, what has happened? There were many complaints that have been filed under the Pocso Act that the sexual intercourse happened with the girls below the age of 18 years. Okay, but High Court had to quash these particular cases. Why? Because in many of these cases, there was the consensual relation that was there. the relations were consensual. The girl have also agreed. And it has been said, observed by the courts, that sometimes the girl as well as boy both are below 18 years of age. They involved into the romantic sexual relations. In these cases, the punishment should not be given. So consensus, if is there, punishment should not be given. And the age of consent should be brought to 16 years from the 18 years. This proposal also has been given by the court. This is something that the issue is all about. Now, the article is saying that there are the gaps, there are the issues in the High Court judgment. Now, what kind of gaps, what kind of issues are there in the High Court judgment? They say this particular thing, that actually in some of the cases, the sexual intercourse happened with the girl, though it was consensual, but the age gap between the male and the girl was fine. The age of the accused, okay, the gap was up to 10 years. Okay, sometimes the boy was much older. Okay, even in those cases, basically it has not been taken in cognizance. Many number of times victim was 15-year-old. Even in that particular cases, the case has been quashed. So point is that the judiciary needs to make very clear that what is the bottom line of the age of consent. Okay, in over 15, when the girl was 15 year, then also you are ordering that the orders is to be quashed. So what is the bottom line of age of consent that has to be declared? Moreover, guys, even the court has not declared IPC or Pocso as unconstitutional. So police will still arrest the boys and girls if they have, girls, for boys particularly, if they have carried a sexual intercourse with a girl below the age of 18 years. So some clarity is needed into the Pocso Act, when to arrest, when not to arrest, and that clarity should come from the side of the parliament. So urgently this clarity is needed. So this is just, guys, dimension that has come. I will not advise you to go too much in detail in the legal dimension, provisions and all such kind of a things for the exam, because you just need to know these issues that are going on the periphery. Then 5 crore names out of MGNREGA list in 22-23 have been deleted. So basically, guys, the reply has been given by the rural development minister that 5 crore names have been deleted from MGNREGA. This is 247% increase from last year. Every year, some names are deleted from MGNREGA. Now, guys, the government is saying that why we have deleted the name. It is because now the deletion is a regular exercise. Sometimes there are the fake job cards, they've got deleted. Duplicate job cards, one person having 2 job cards, they got deleted. People are not willing to work, they got job, those job cards have deleted. Family shifted to some other place, these job cards have deleted. And there was only one single person on a job card and that person is now expired. So these are the reasons that the job cards have been deleted, and these deletions are the normal process. Sometimes there are the incorrect job card that was there, fake applicant, fine, all these reasons are there that they have deleted the job cards. But at the same time, that needs to be always kept in mind that undue deletions or the basically needy beneficiary should not be left out with these particular things. So basically now on this particular dimension, a full-fledged question will never come. You can use these particular dimensions while writing on the social justice answers. Then next, Lok Sabha passes contentious biological diversity bill. So guys, the bill has been passed by the Lok Sabha. Now what was this biological diversity bill? So basically, guys, when we talk about the biological diversity, it has to be protected. Okay, biological resources, they have to be protected. And for that, we have the Biological Diversity Act of 2002. Any person without taking the permission cannot exploit the biological resources. But guys, understand this thing, today we are promoting the Ayush sector, Ayurveda, Unani, Ayurveda, Yoga, Unani, Siddha and homeopathy. Now these medical practitioners need the biological resources, they need the jadi booties and all such kind of a thing. And the Ayush practitioners, the seed companies, they have complained that they have to take a lot of permissions. They have to take a lot of permissions from the state biodiversity boards. Okay, and it is impacting their efficiency. So what has happened, this particular bill has exempted the Ayush medical practitioners and the people who are using the traditional knowledge of biodiversity, that they have not to take the prior permission from biodiversity board every time. Okay, so this is something that has been done. Now the environmentalists are criticizing this particular thing also. It is being said that by this there will be the open loot, open plunder of the resources that will happen. ठीक है. Now, arrived at consensus on ties in Bali, China. Now guys, nothing important has come in this particular article. What has happened? So basically, the consensus to restore the bilateral ties, fine, in the Bali, the consensus to restore the bilateral ties were signed in the Bali last year. Now what has happened? There is a meeting that has happened between the National Security Advisor and the Chinese director of the Central Foreign Affairs Commission. Now after this particular meeting, they have said that we will work on the consensus to restore the bilateral ties that was decided last year. So on this particular thing, they are going to take, and they say that now we will take the bilateral issues, boundary issues, okay, and will solve them. Okay, guys, please don't go too much in detail. Nothing substantial has come in this particular article beyond this. And then the main practice question for today: why is climate change alone not to be blamed for unprecedented rain and floods in the Himachal Pradesh? What are the anthropogenic reasons? Discuss whether the developmental model should be relooked. So this article will see, this particular question will be with respect to the GS paper number 3, 10 marker. That is all guys about this. So with this, we came to an end to the today's session. I hope you have liked it. Thank you so much.